15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
Welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. My name is Akosele Dekolas Walter, and here are the news making the headlines. ASU accuses federal government of deceit as minister explains payment delay. Zambian president places army and police chiefs. Last U.S. military flight departs, ending America's longest war. NAIRA falls to all-time low of 527 against dollar. MBAPPE to sign Real Madrid's pre-contract, says reports. Please stay with us as we'll bring you details of the news after the short break. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back, and now the news in full. The federal government explained why it had not paid the University Revitalization Fund and met the demands of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. The Minister of State for Education, Emeka Wanjuba, who stated this in an interview, said the government was working hard to ensure the release of the Revitalization Fund by the Central Bank of Nigeria. But ASU, in its reaction, dismissed the minister's explanation, saying the government was being dishonest in its justification of a delay in paying the Revitalization Fund. On August 2nd, the Minister of Labor and Employment, Chris Ngige, said the government had paid the Revitalization Fund and as contained in the Memorandum of Action signed by the lecturers. He, however, said the money was in the custody of Central Bank of Nigeria pending the conclusion of the audit. While claiming that government officials had stopped taking the calls of the ASU members, also the KE also said the union had given the government till today to meet its demand. And moving forward, Ogun lacks fair share of road rehabilitation, ABIODUN tells federal government. Ogun State Governor ABIODUN has told the federal government that the state has not had a fair share in the rehabilitation of roads. ABIODUN called on the federal government to reflect federal character on road rehabilitation in the country. The governor urged the federal government to give the state special attention, particularly in terms of road rehabilitation. He said the state deserves better attention than it is currently getting from the federal government for its road due to its strategic location as the industrial capital of Nigeria. The governor said this when he received the executive chairman of the Federal Character Commission, Dr. Muhiba Dankaka, who led the management team of the commission on a courtesy call to his office at Oke Mosan, Abeokuta. ABIODUN maintains that the federal government should give roads in the state special attention. He pointed out the importance of good road network and the socio-economic development of any nation, noting that infrastructure remained one of the factors other sectors depend on to operate effectively. He further appreciated the Commission for doing a good job of ensuring fairness and equal distribution of infrastructure in the country. In another development, quickly, NAFDAC decries increased circulation of uncertified medical products and food. The National Agency for Food, Drug Administration Control has decried the increased circulation of substandard and uncertified medical products and food in the country. The agency said it would not rest on its laurels in fishing out those involved in the illicit acts and make them face the law. Director General of NAFDAC, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, stated this during a sensitization campaign flag off in Port Harcourt for the South-South Zone. Adeyeye, who was represented by the NAFDAC's Director, South-South Zone, Subulade Isijola, said the campaign was in 8 states of the Federation. She further said the awareness campaign was one of the veritable regulatory mechanisms put in place by the agency to promote and protect the health of Nigeria. Adeyeye said the COVID-19 pandemic worsened the manufacturing and distribution of substandard products, saying fake personal protective equipment have been pushed into the market. Earlier, the Director of Public Affairs Abuja, Abubakar Jimo, said the sensitization serves as part of recruitment for the public to take part in fight against illicit products. And quickly coming from around Africa, Zambian president replaces army and police chiefs. Zambia's new president, Hakainde Hichilema, has replaced the country's top military commanders and the head of the police and signaled a focus on the security forces being more accountable to the citizens. The president announced new commanders of the Zambian army, the Air Force and the National Service and their deputies, as well as a new Inspector General of Police. All regional police commissioners have been relieved of their duties, but their replacements have not been named. Mr. Hichilema said the new office bearers must have the interest of the people at heart and serve the country diligently while ensuring human rights, freedoms and liberties are respected. He said the police must carry out proper checks before detaining suspects and that no one should be arrested before investigations are concluded. Mr. Hichilema, who was voted in as president earlier this month in landslide victory, has been the victim of police brutality in the past. He has been arrested and detained multiple times in the past and had promised to deal with the heavy-handedness of the security forces. And still coming from around Africa, Sudan and Chad agreed to boost security and fight cross-border terror threats. The chairman of the Chadian Transitional Military Council, Mohammed Idris Deby, visited Sudan in a bid to solicit regional support in rebuilding the North Central African states. The Sudan Sovereignty Council President Abdel Fattah al-Burhan met with Chad AGK President Deby and his accompanying delegation at the Republic Palace in the capital, Khartoum. In a statement, Deby said his visit was also meant to strengthen the cooperation and relations between Sudan and Chad. Faced with related security issues, the two countries embraced the integration, concerted efforts and joint cooperation with the African Union in the field of border security, the fight against terrorism, and the security violations. And Deby further stated that they will intensify efforts to reinforce the security and stability of Sudan and Chad. We'll go on a short break. We'll come back. We'll bring you updates from the United States of America. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back, and now updates from United States of America. Last U.S. military flight departs, ending America's longest war. The last U.S. military flight has left Kabul airport, marking the end of a 20-year presence in Afghanistan and America's longest war. Officials said the last C-17 aircraft took off with the U.S. ambassador on board after midnight local time today. They added that the diplomatic mission to assist those unable to leave before the deadline will continue. Celebratory gunfire by the Taliban was heard after the last plane departed. The aircraft's departure was the final chapter in a contentious military effort, which eventually saw the U.S. handing Afghanistan back to the very Islamist militants it sought to root out when American troops entered the country in 2001. It also was the end of a massive evacuation effort that began on the 14th of August, soon after the Taliban took over the country. 100 civilians per day during that time. Speaking after the announcement, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called the evacuation a massive military, diplomatic, and humanitarian undertaking, and one of the most challenging the U.S. has ever carried out. President Joe Biden issued a short statement thanking all those involved in the evacuation operation over the last 17 days and said he would address the nation later on Tuesday. More updates from the United Kingdom. UK to push for safe passage for Afghans as US withdraws. The international community will push as one voice for the safe passage of Afghans who want to leave. Boris Johnson has said the Prime Minister's comments came after the UN Security Council urged the Taliban to allow people to leave the country, and US forces withdrew from Afghanistan, ending their 20-year presence and leaving the Taliban in control. British troops also left over the weekend. In a draft resolution, the UN Security Council also urged the Taliban not to allow Afghanistan to become a base for terrorism, and it called on all parties to allow full, safe, and unhindered access for the UN and charities to deliver humanitarian aid. The resolution drafted by the UK and France was passed with 13 votes in favor and 2 abstentions from China and Russia. The Taliban have promised those with authorization will be allowed to leave the country. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also will pledge to hold the Taliban to their commitment for free passage. Labour shows Foreign Secretary Lisa Nandy welcomed the resolution but said it needed to go further. We'll go quickly straight to business news right now. NAIRA falls to all-time low of 527 against dollar. The NAIRA extended its decline on Monday, sliding to an all-time low of 527 NAIRA against the dollar at the parallel market. The local currency, which has been on a downward trend in recent weeks, fell to 524 against the greenback on Friday from 522 naira per dollar on Thursday. At the investors and exporters window, the naira, however, strengthened to 411 per dollar on Monday from 412 per dollar on Friday, according to FMDQ Group. The naira has strengthened to 506 per dollar on August 4th after plunging to 525 per dollar at the parallel market on July 28, a day after the Central Bank of Nigeria stopped foreign exchange sales to bureau de change. The Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Mr. Godwin Emefiele had on July 27 at the end of the Monetary Policy Committee meeting announced the stoppage of forex sale to the BDCs, saying they had turned themselves into agents that facilitates grafts and corrupt activities of people who seek illicit fund flow and money laundering in Nigeria. And still on business news, NNPC incurs 756.99 billion naira petrol subsidy in 7 months. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation incurred 756.99 billion naira petrol subsidy cost from January to July this year, the latest data obtained from the corporation show. The subsidy, which the NNPC prefers to call value shortfall or under recovery, resurfaced in January this year as the government left the pump price of petrol unchanged at 162 naira to 165 naira per litre despite the increase in global oil prices. The federal government had in March 2020 removed petrol subsidy after reducing the pump price of a product to 125 naira per litre from 145 naira following the sharp drop in crude oil prices. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, which has been the sole importer of petrol into the country in recent years, has been bearing the subsidy cost since it resurfaced. The subsidy cost rose from 143.29 billion naira in June to 175.32 billion naira in July, according to the NNPC. We'll go on a very short break. When we come back, we'll bring you sport news. Please do not go anywhere. Welcome back, and now sports news. MBAPPE to sign Real Madrid pre-contract. Kylian Mbappe is planning to sign a pre-contract agreement with Real Madrid in January after Paris Saint-Germain failed to reply to the Spanish club £154.4 million offer. Real made a second improved bid of £145.8 million plus £8.57 million in add-ons and set PSG a deadline to respond. However, no response was forthcoming, meaning Real are likely to wait until January when they can sign Mbappe on a pre-contract agreement for him to join for free next summer. The French forward reiterated to PSG on Monday that he will not renew his contract, which expires at the end of the season, as he wants to move to Real Madrid. PSG are still keen to convince MBAPPE to sign a new deal, but it is understood there is now no chance of the 22-year-old agreeing to do so. MBAPPE turned up to France Clairefontaine headquarters on Monday as the world champions prepare to face Bosnia and Herzegovina, Ukraine and Finland in their upcoming World Cup qualifiers. PSG sporting director Leonardo said last week MBAPPE wanted to leave, but they would not sell him in the final week of the window, and they would not sell him for less than his market value. In another sports news, Djokovic starts US Open quest against Danish qualifier. Novak Djokovic launches his quest for a US Open title to complete a calendar year Grand Slam today when he faces Danish qualifier Holger Rune at Arthur Ashe Stadium. World number one Djokovic would become the first man since Rod Laver in 1969 to capture all 4 Grand Slam titles in the same year if he captures his 4th US Open title. The 34-year-old Serbian boosted his career Grand Slam total to 20 by taking this year's Australian and French Opens and Wimbledon titles, matching Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal for the all-time men's record. And Djokovic will face Rune in today's first night match at Arthur Ashe Stadium, following by Canadian 6th seed Bianca Andreescu opening against Swiss Vikoja Golubic. And that has brought us to the end of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. In case you missed out, here's the news headlines recap. ASU accuses federal government of deceit as minister explains payment delay. Zambian president replaces army and police chiefs. Last U.S. military flight departs, ending America's longest war. NAIRA falls to all-time low of 527 against dollar. MBAPPE to sign Real Madrid pre-contracts. And quickly, we have a photo of the day. You could see someone breaking something into pieces and showing it to the world. The other one is trying to fix the broken part right now. What does that imply? It simply means that we should all try as much as possible to focus on the solution, not the problem. Do not escalate the problem. Fix the problem. And you can drop your comment on a social media platform. On Facebook, we have Celebration TV, Instagram, My Celebration TV, Twitter at My Celebration TV, YouTube, Celebration TV. Always remember that your positive contribution to the wellness of a society you find yourself or the organization you work defines your leadership mind. As an individual who knows what to do and do without expecting to be pushed, has bagged his ways to success. Be it known today that everything we do, think, feel, and believe either has a positive or negative effect on humanity and our national well-being. Be a part of nation building today. Thank you once again for staying with us on our news desk. I remain Apostle Nicholas Walter. Say bye for now. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.